I'm a new guy to this space. About 4 months ago, I was introduced to the concept of blockchain. Prior to that, I'd had some run-ins with Bitcoin transactions, but I didn't fully understand what blockchain meant, what the technology was all about. Over the last 4 months, I've taken a lot of time to study, analyze, evaluate what this technology is all about. And my experience has, led me to believe that this is the next coming. My background is in finance. I was born and brought up in Oman. My father is a doctor to the King of Oman. I moved to the US, studied finance, moved to New York. I was a stockbroker the first couple of years. Then I worked as a fixed income research analyst for AllianceBernstein, an $890 billion company. I was let go in 2009, around the same time Bitcoin was born. Got involved with Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, did a number of transactions to the tune of about $1 billion. From there, I got involved with AT&T building in Chicago. That was a $315 million syndication. After that, I was invited to get involved in a national crisis in India. This was a Ponzi scheme to the tune of $7 billion. And 144 million Indians had been impacted by this Ponzi scheme. My role in the transaction was to refinance assets. That was the Plaza Hotel, the Dream Hotel, the Grosvenor House Hotel in London. It was a $2 billion financing. We structured it. It was a war of words that broke out with the gentleman who owned it. No one likes their assets being taken against their will from them. This created a war of words. There was a lot of media written about this, close to 150,000 articles about me. I was on Wall Street Journal, CNBC. Needless to say, I sued the company for defamation to the tune of $400 million, and we settled out of court for an undisclosed sum. Shortly after that, I decided to go on retirement. I moved to Florida, made a nice little home over here, and took some time to diversify. We got involved with healthcare. We partnered with urgent cares, with pharmacies, with substance abuse, mental health treatment centers. The point to this story is, somewhere along the way, one of my very dear friends, Mr. Varun Datta, reached out to me and presented an idea. It was an idea of waste to energy. And at the time, I didn't fully understand. I was like, okay, this is a defensive play. It's a very, very secure, safe bet. It's a good place to park your money, to diversify your investments. So the more I looked into it, the more I studied it. Around the same time, blockchain technology entered my paradigm, started to understand it. And what I realized was that there's a huge, huge shortfall currently in the world. This is obviously known to all of us, but it was fully comprehended and understood only once I started to dig into things. For starters, one Bitcoin transaction as of September 30th consumes 7.5 households worth of power for a day. That's just one transaction as of September 30th. As of December 31st, one Bitcoin transaction could power 10.5 households. And as of this morning, that number is now 11.87 homes. Just to put it in perspective, that's 2 weeks, guys, or 19 days, so a little less than 3 weeks. And we've already added an extra 2 homes to the list. This rate of energy consumption is mind-numbing. I'm going to add to it another caveat. On December 31st, global mining revenues were at $19.4 billion. Global. The total cost was $2 billion. As of this morning, global mining revenues is projected at $11 billion, and the cost is still $2 billion. So the cost hasn't changed, but the spread has thinned out. And this is because the process of mining Bitcoins is getting harder and harder and harder. And at this rate, the currencies are unsustainable, they're unscalable. It's not feasible to actually have cryptocurrencies on a mass adoption basis. What drives anything on planet Earth is energy. It's the most fundamental, foundational building block of life. An amoeba, to go from a single cell to a multi-celled organism, requires energy. For all of us to wake up in the morning, eat our breakfast, use those calories to convert it to joules, those joules that drive us through the day, it's all energy. So it wouldn't be surprising that every technological or massive human advancement that's taken place over time has required an insurmountable amount of energy. When we had bullock carts, to go from bullock carts to automobile, we needed a lot of energy. To go from regular technology or industrial revolution to the technological age required that much more energy. Space age requires that much more energy. So energy is at the heart of everything that drives mankind as it is today. Having said that, there is a law of physics that states energy is neither created nor destroyed. It simply transforms itself from one form to another. So all the energy we need is still here. We just need to find ways to harness it. We have some great ideas: hydro, wind, solar. These are all remarkable ideas. However, they're limited to natural resource availability. There are pockets. Geothermal is available where there's geothermal activity. Water is available where there's water flowing. Wind is available where there's wind flowing. So human beings are everywhere, and human beings tend to produce a lot of waste. So with this, I'll introduce to you 4New. 4New Limited is a waste-to-energy treatment plant. What we do is we collect the waste, we put it through a high-pressured combustion chamber. The gases that generates then turns the turbines, which then generates electricity, and the electricity is then utilized either to be sold to the national grid or put it towards a project of your choosing. Having said that, the revenue collected from the waste collection process allows us to operate the plant at break even. Therefore, all the energy that is created is actually free energy. The only cost to that energy from time to time is maintenance and upkeep of a plant. From an accounting standpoint, a plant can sustain itself for 50 to 100 years, but from an accounting standpoint, at 50 years, you depreciate it down to salvage value. 4New is the first infrastructure-related project for the crypto community space. There hasn't been a public utility company that has entered this space. It's important to note we are not an exchange-traded platform. We are producers of energy. Therefore, the energy we produce, we own it, and we can apply it where we want to. What we decided to do, initially, first we thought about it, we would go and we'd sell the energy to a national grid. There would be all the surplus and profits, and that's all great. But then we realized the amount of impact that lack of energy was having on the crypto space and its scalability. So what we decided to do was launch a crypto mining farm on site with our plant. What this would allow us to do is standardize and normalize all transaction costs associated with Bitcoins and Litecoins and proof of work, proof of stake, whatever the argument may be, the energy can basically support all those transactions. We raised $30 million, conventional funding. We produced our plant order. We've put it into effect. Within 4 months, our plant's going to be live. We're going to launch with 8 megawatts per hour in terms of power. And then we're going to quickly, within 60 to 90 days, ramp up to 14 megawatts per hour. And within 12 months thereafter, we would ramp up to 40 megawatts per hour. Just to put it in perspective, 40 megawatts per hour can power 40,000 homes for a day, every hour. This plant will support a township. 40 megawatts per hour also supports approximately 5% of the global Bitcoin transactions market share. So the footprint of this plant would be pretty significant. And this one plant would just be the starting point. We've been in talks with a number of folks. I must say I'm truly impressed with the gathering of folks that have attended this event. There's a lot of brain power over here. There's a lot of enthusiasm, passion, drive, energy. And what we have learned, not realizing this is what we were going to be learning, we've received some very, very, very big indications of interest to buy out the entire energy lot that we have. This is something we weren't prepared for coming into this event, so this was certainly a pleasant surprise. We'll have some big announcements to make. We have press releases next week, formally identifying groups that we have affiliated with or partnered with to that effect. But they're all noteworthy entities, certainly global footprints in regards to crypto mining. And we'll be affiliating with them to utilize our energy towards long-term purchase power contracts. Having said that, let me take your attention to I kind of talked about the competitive edge already, the KWatt coin. The KWatt coin is our token. 1 KWatt coin embodies within it 1 kilowatt of power. The total output capacity of the plant is 40 megawatts per hour at max capacity. And if you multiply that by 1,000, kilowatts, because that's what goes into a megawatt, multiplied by 24, multiplied by 365, the number you get is 300 million after maintenance and upkeep. So 300 million kilowatts of power is what the plant can produce, and therefore we launched 300 million KWatt coins, each embedded with 1 kilowatt of power. The way we structured the ICO, or the tokenomics, so to speak, is it's a one-time purchase for a lifetime supply of electricity. So if you were a miner, hypothetically speaking, and you bought the KWatt coin, you technically would be using that power. You would stake the coin on a 4new blockchain. The miner would then use that energy to process his transaction and pay his electric bill to himself. So you, the coin holder, become the utility company by holding the coin because it's your electricity. You could use it either towards the national grid or you can use it towards a crypto mining farm. So there are options, there is flexibility, there's different motivations to different folks. The way I envision this, and there have been some groundbreaking ideas that have been presented to me even last night. We are working on ways to make this scalable, not just to our plant, but also to be able to pay all electric bills around the world. So if you lived in other countries, if you had other providers that you were servicing, the coin could be in effect used for that as well. So having said that, in a nutshell, what KWatt has evolved into is tokenized electricity. We've already sold $30.5 million worth of the coins. We had a total hard cap of $75 million. We have strong reasons to believe that through the end of this event, we will be completely sold out with maybe $1 to $2 million worth of allocation left, which we were anticipating a March 31st ICO ending date, which I don't think will be required any further. It's most likely going to be wrapped up by the end of this month, if not by the end of this weekend. So having said that, I'm truly excited. I invite you guys to come on down to our booth, learn more about us. We have a contest that we had announced. I don't know how many of you are aware of this. It's a 1 million KWatt giveaway. You get involved with the contest by entering into it. 1 Ether minimum purchase. You get KWatts for the purchase, and one lucky winner gets 1 million KWatts. In addition to that, top 20 investors have a private invite to live tonight, where we would like to basically express certain more details about our plant, and as well as network with other miners and other organizations to truly take this to the next level. The coin also has utility above and beyond just the plant. We've actually affiliated with Gordium Healthcare starting second quarter of 2018. You're going to be able to use the coin for urgent care services, for telemedicine services, for online pharmaceutical needs that you may have. We have affiliated with another company out in United Kingdom for global money transfer services. So you'll be able to move money around the world using the coin as a vessel. This is what creates fungibility. This is what creates liquidity in the coin. So all these attributes are required attributes for a successful coin and its pricing in the future. We've also affiliated with the Imperial College of London in regards to developing our supply chain on the waste to management side. So the team definitely has very nice and strong, robust academic support and affiliation. Other than that, I wish you guys best of luck, and thank you for all the attention you've given us. Please come down to our booth to learn more.